we did like the Star Wars lightsaber kind of thing. As you notice, like controlling one hand with both hands is feels really different than just one hand. So like it's an interesting practice. You can find some really interesting kind of moves. Then eventually you can try with kind of Poi also. So that helps. Yeah, we dance with like trying to pay full attention to the empty hand, which is really good because it really gives us some consciousness about our body also. Because suddenly, since I don't have any Poi in the hand, it becomes part of the rest. You know, normally it's like the Poi and the rest. If it's just Poi in one hand, the other hand just somehow becomes part of the whole body. So it's a good way how you can really think about incorporating your body movement into the flow. And we dance in different ways with both Poi, trying to like focus on the contrast between doing some really geometrical kind of moves and then just trying to forget about the geometry and whatever idea I have, just sort of, you know, forget about the geometry and the flow and then again go back into it. Which can be really nice if you're doing some really geometrical stuff and you know it's kind of boring after a while, even though you're doing like really complicated things or whatsoever. It's just like circles, so it's, you know, so nice eventually when you just like go bam, you know, and just forget about it, like so you can achieve some nice contrast there. Yeah, and like looking into different kind of dance forms and martial arts can really help. So imagining you're a ninja, or like just thinking about like how smooth the dancers are, trying to really like watch people's head positions and where they look. And there's so many different ways you can express if I'm doing a pirouette. If I'm just like, you know, looking at one spot and turning, or if it's like my body turns together with my head, or if like first goes the hand and then the body. And there's so many little things you can pay attention to. Yeah, and like in order to really find a unique way of dancing, you can find that in the very simplest movements, because like I was saying, like some really complicated movements don't leave much space for your individual sort of style. So if, yeah, an expression, if I'm doing like some really complicated something, yeah, I can choose like, if my legs are like this, am I moving from side to side, or am I standing like that, do my shoulders are like stiff, or are they relaxed, or whatsoever. But there's not so much room for that. Unlike like combinations between the basic butterfly and like just doing some really basic kind of stuff, that can be done in many different ways. And you can really find your own way. So you want to be really independent with transitions. So you want to be able to stall each hand in different planes. So then you can just like fully go with the flow when you're thinking, I'm in the butterfly and I want to go into something else. So then you don't think about it too much. It's like, okay, the hand is behind the body, so I stall it there. And I go to wherever I want to go. Yeah, if you have limitations in these simple things, you're less likely to progress into the more complicated ones. And like I said, like me personally, I really enjoy watching people combining these simple things in so many different ways. Often they have their very interesting style, rather than people who spend 10 hours learning some really complicated 3D kind of move. But they're doing it the same way like everybody else, and it just looks boring to me. But when people are really free to combining simple things and really focusing on just like a simple tracer can be done so many different ways. I can really isolate my body, don't move at all, and just move my hands. Or I can really incorporate somebody movement into that. And I can go maybe small, big, and then I can speed up one hand, speed up the second one, maybe add some extra beats here and there, extend, and I can make it through. Or I can isolate it, or I can pretend I'm really small, or then I'm really big, and so this is really where there's room for individual discovery and exploration. Yeah, we did learning to speed up one hand in a certain rhythm, so 1 versus 2 circles, that can also eventually open up into the Poi. And also it's another way how you can break geometry sometimes, and you can kind of reach out. And it's so relaxing, you know. Sometimes like I feel trapped in my geometry. I'm like thinking too much geometrically, just not to break the flow. And then like, you know, screw that. It's just like do whatever feels good in the moment. And then it feels like breathing, you know. Sometimes you like so much doing some sticky stuff, and then you feel like somehow limited, and you're like, you know, you're really like, yeah, that's just so relaxing at the moment. And if you listen to music and the music is your guide through the dance, then some little thing in the music can really inspire you to suddenly go open, you know. Or then yeah, like I was showing, like doing some weave, and suddenly like I would spin one hand because the music tells me to do so. Yeah, so just learning really simply like different lanes. Either hands, one hand is slower hand can be extended or it can be just small. You know, that can also go into this, like this, or you know, the handspin versus that. Yeah, we also we talked about like the idea of having one kind of improvisation hand versus one static hand. So like, for example, the static hand can just like do whatever you want. You can stand here and I can improvise here. Sometimes it can cross, but just like I'm not focusing on my left. Sometimes the left moves somewhere in order to make space for the right. But like my full attention goes into my right hand. Yeah? And the left hand is just like doing whatever it's necessary to do down there. And sometimes it can go like that, or I can really follow that one. So like for me now, the right hand is the important hand. And the left is just like improvising around it. So if I go like and like in spin, and the spin, or like diagonal, whatever. Can be nice, and then I stall that. And just like really put attention to it. Doesn't mean I have to watch that so much, right? But it's really like if I'm doing something like that, I stop. This is the hand that everybody's watching. Yeah, this is just like a random circle somewhere. Yeah. And then you can you know, put attention, like the audience will watch this boy and think like what's going on, and then you go like and you prepare for that move. If I just spin and I would like it's not so like exaggerated, right? You want to exaggerate, you want to sell each move you do. So adding like a contrast and working with the tension of the hands is the way to go. Also like you can really impress people like with simple moves if you combine them in a good way. So like, you know, sometimes you're spinning and you like imagine you're like a giant ball of energy, and you somehow like you can go really small. And when you're really small, you can create some tension, and that gives you really the power to like open up into whatsoever. And that, you know, the music works very well for that. If you're choosing a music for your show, if you want to have music, it's not constantly the same because then it's boring. It's nice when there are some like changes. So you can go really small, you know, and do something small and like catch the ball or whatever, and that gives you the power to really like reach out and so far, and again go small. So this is the contrast that makes it interesting. And what else did we do? Pretty much just this and then the stall. Tosses. Yeah. Yeah, so like important thing about this toss is that there's obviously two directions. The easier one comes from counterclockwise, and I'm like kind of going down, and I'm putting my wrist sort of this way, and then I let the point go. It's not a toss where I'm like tossing, you know, it's like not looking at. I'm just like letting the boy go in a certain moment. I'm trying to be slow, and I'm not doing this. You should avoid catching the boy with the thumb facing opposite direction than the boy is. Always catching the boy with the thumb pointing towards it. That's important, yeah. Because if you happen to catch the boy like this, you can't really spin this way. Yeah. So you have to like somehow turn it. And that's like taking your attention away and you losing the flow. So That's why I like this toss so much, because you know, from a distance, this looks almost the same like this. So there's a gap. So I can use that, for instance, to like, I can throw it this way. Alright, if I get like caught in some weird position, I can get out from there. So if I'm in a crosshair, I'm like, how do I get out from the crosshair? Like, okay. And there's also the space for the third. And so. Yeah, and we're going to continue with the tosses tomorrow. So, that's it. Thank you very much, guys.